Yep. I just saw Cindy jump in there, and it should pop up recording in on our window, should it not, Marielle? I believe it will. Yep. Thank you. All chats. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're almost good to go. Lisa, you're going to give me a thumbs up when it's recording, or is it recording now?
Like
I'm not sure Mary Ellen's looking after that.
Looks like it's recording.
Okay. Yep. You give me the 100% when it's ready, and then we'll go. It's like watching molasses roll down a BC highway. Oh, there's no BC highways anymore. That was my bad. That's pretty rough stuff going on in BC there.
Happy. You find your
Yeah, do.
We could have everyone mute their microphones if you are not speaking, just so we can eliminate as much feedback as possible, please.
And Barry, you're on. Go ahead.
And we're just waiting to ensure the recording is working, and then we're going to get started for the public. So I'm not ignoring anyone, really. I'm just waiting.
Okay. Oh my God.
My screen indicates the recording is 2 minutes and 45 seconds into it.
Then, Larry, I'd say we're good to go.
Yes, we're good to go. Sorry.
Mary Ellen, we're going to get going. Larry says he's got a confirmation of recording, so I'm going to believe him.
Okay.
Okay. Well, it is November 15th, 2021, and we are going to call the meeting of Turner Valley Town Council to order at 6:34, and we sure hope that the recording is working fully and completely for the public and for the history of this meeting. I'd like to start this meeting with an acknowledgement that we are on the traditional territories of the people of the Treaty 7, including the Blackfoot Confederacy, members Siksika, Kainai, and Kainai First Nations, the Stoney Nakoda, Bearspaw, Chiniki, and Wesley First Nations, and the Dene of Tsuut'ina Nations and the Métis Region 3. As I said, we're called to order here at 6:34. Can I get an approval of agenda 2.1 for November 15th, 2021 from a councillor, please? And I have Councillor Robb indicating that motion. Can I get a all in favor, hands nice and high? And that is good. Perfect. Thank you. Moving on to confidential closed meeting sessions, we have none. So we will go to 4, adoption of previous minutes. 4.1 is the adoption of the org meeting from November 1st, 2021. Can I get a motion for that, please? Councillor Waring gives a motion. Anybody have any problems with the org chart? Did you review it? Make sure you're in the right spots. All your wishes are granted. I got a thumbs up from Hazel. If Hazel says thumbs up, you can ensure that it's good. So if I can get an all in favor, hands up nice and high, please. Excellent. Thank you. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. 4.2, adoption of regular council meeting minutes of November 1st, 2021. Can I get an adoption for those draft minutes, please? I'll get Councillor Dixon. Everyone have a little look over those. See anything? Doesn't look like it. All right. All in favor of that, please. Hands nice and high. Thank you. And that is unanimous. Thank you. Question period. We have question period is a 15-minute section of our regular council meeting that we give to the public to ask questions of council or administration for points of clarity or just regular inquiry. We have email, texts, phone calls, however you wish to get it into council or administration will accept it. In this case, we have one tonight from Mr. Jim Lawton, and it is, I've raised this issue last year when we had that major snowstorm, which was December 21st, I remember. However, my concern was not just for when it snowed. The issue is the parking on the east side of Main Street on the north side of town. Any parking on this side, whether it snows or not, creates a pinch point as there's parking on both the west and the east side. Currently, there is an RV parked on the east side, which makes the problem even worse. I think that there should be no long-term parking on the east side and a stay of 2-hour limit. I believe Councillor Waring sent out a photo showing a 1-hour limit today, but I'm going to go to Mr. Patience, the CAO, for a response on that. Mr. Patience, over to you.
Thanks, Mayor Crane. I did actually have a quick look just to see how that signage worked this afternoon. And really from the fire hall north, we've got signs that say no parking here to corner, which is, I think, maybe a bit elusive. And then we've got parking for deliveries only up to Seclusion Valley. So that's certainly something I'm happy to discuss with Craig and our representatives from Alberta Transportation, and to see if there's maybe some way to minimize those issues on the north end of the highway on Main Street there. Obviously, I don't have a lot of background on that, so I'd lean on my councillor's experience in that area. I haven't seen a lot of issues myself, but I would certainly relent to those that have local experience on that. So if council would like, I'm certainly happy to forward that on to Mr. Beaton and have a conversation about whether he believes there's value in that or not.
Okay, thank you. Council, any questions, concerns, comments on that? Waring? Yeah, go ahead, Waring.
One of the big problems at the moment is because of the logging operation that's going on. You're getting those things running through town all the time. Since those 1-hour signs went up, the commercial signs, I think, were put up by the Alberta Transport. I don't think the town put those up. But from a personal point of view, I got no problem if we had a 2-hour limit. And I think from the rest of it, it's pretty well covered by the signages, though.
Councillor Gordon, you have the floor.
Yeah, thanks. I do thank Mr. Lawton for bringing this forward. It's something I wonder as well if we can have administration look into whether or not it's valuable to restrict overnight parking on certain routes as well. I know we kind of discussed this last year with some vehicles not moving off of the streets in a very hasty manner. So if we could have administration look into that as well, which roads would be better to restrict overnight parking in the winter months so that it allows such roads to be cleared a little bit quicker. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Holiday, you have the floor.
Yeah, I feel the same way as John that, I'd be happy with the 2-hour limit, and that would take away overnight unless, because nobody's overnight is more than 2 hours. But just consistency, if we can look at something that's easy so everybody knows along that whole east side. I don't know if there's any way to get it more consistent.
Okay, excellent. All right, well, I think we'll have administration have a look at it then and bring it back at our next meeting with a few thoughts, and we can bash it around from there. How's that sound, everybody? All right, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Lawton, for your question, and we will definitely look into it.
Sorry, you need a motion?
Sure, absolutely.
Yes.
Warren, go ahead.
I'll give you that motion to council directs the administration to look into the parking problems on the north side of Main Street and reports back to council, shall we say, the first meeting in January?
John, that would be the east side of Main Street?
East side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will that work for you, Sean? First meeting December?
Absolutely.
Okay, excellent. All right, sounds good, Councilor Waring. Council, any comments? Seeing none, and all in favor. And that is carried unanimously. Thank you very much. All right. Moving on, we have statutory hearings, nil, and then we have delegations. So our first delegation, now before I introduce the delegations, let me just say this. For people that are here on a delegation, if you see councilors doing this or holding a fist or one finger or two fingers up as such, that is how we've been running our meetings. So when I see someone put up four fingers with a thumb, for example, I will mimic that hand signal, and that is just a silent way of communicating that I've seen you and I've put you in the speaking order. So, for example, if you wanted to speak when we have the Dusty and Larry, you'd do the same thing. And when you see my hand go up, matching, what it is you have done, then I've acknowledged I got your eye and I'll put you in the queue. So it's just a nice little silent way of acknowledging speaker order. That being said, first up, we have Mr. Mike King, president of the Gateway BYLAWS, Condos, Compost Bin Complex, along with Randy Hansen. So, Sean, is there any other introduction needed, or shall I give it over to the master of ceremonies, Mike King himself?
I think you can turn it over. I believe everyone saw a copy of Mr. King's email, so I believe you're all familiar with the topic, and welcome, Mr. King.
Well, first of all, I'd like to congratulate council and the mayor on their recent victories. And I can assure Mayor Crane, I've been given the one finger many times. I understand what that is. So to make this quick, my counterpart will do his, Randy Hansen has got all the paperwork. We were just concerned about the size of the bins. We had no problem with the garbage or the recycling. Where we had the problem with composting, and I'll have Randy explain that to you. Anyways, I will turn it over to Randy. We'll make it quick and simple so we don't tie you up. Thanks very much, Randy.
Thank you.
Wait for the hand signal. Hello, everybody tonight that's tuned in. Congratulations again to all the new and returning counselors. With all the issues you're dealing with, I'm sure you don't want to talk about garbage bins that long. Anyway, I hope everyone had a chance to read the email sent to Lisa Brown. The bottom line is that residents of Diamond Valley would like the small size bin for collection of organic waste. As indicated in the email, the size of the black garbage bins is not so much an issue. But there's limited space, again, especially if we got 3 large bins, and it's a concern. I understand that $200,000 has been approved by council for the purchase of bins, and $100,000 of that was approved at the October 4th council meeting for the organic waste bins. Now, at this point, has council considered the size of bins to be ordered? And will the residents be able to decline delivery of the bins not wanted? somebody like to comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, I'm going to go to Mr. Patience to confirm what our ordering of the bin timeline is. I know our very first motion that we made, we've already ordered the black bins. So for Turner Valley, it would be ordering the organic bins. And just on the first glance, Randy, I'd have to agree with you. We only need small bins because my house produces enough to feed 5 chickens across the road. And that can only fit in a small bin. But anyway, let's go to Sean to see where we're at with the ordering process first, and then we'll move on from there. Mr. Patience?
Thank you, Mayor Crane. Mr. Beaton is obviously handling the ordering of those bins, and I will say that we have made allowance for approximately 200 of the 1,100 to be smaller bins for those that wish to have a smaller organic bin. At this point, we are just working on the actual bylaw for council's consideration, and you'll see that probably in January. I will suggest at this point that there has been no option included for an opt-out of any of the bins. Clearly, that would have a significant impact on the rollout of the program. Suffice it to say, there has been a consideration given to those who might want a smaller organic bin. And of course, because they're new programs, it'll take some time for those to contemplate, what those bins are utilized for. I will say that in my previous posting, we did use organic bins, and a lot of the residents utilized them for yard waste in the summer. And often they weren't big enough, even though they were the large size bins. So I think that there's probably a learning curve for not only our residents, but probably for our administration and council as well. So we did make the allowance for a portion of that bin order to be a smaller bin. But I will suggest that those that are using it also for garden and lawn waste will certainly probably want the larger bins.
Okay. Thank you. Randy, go ahead. Richard, can you mute, please? Thanks. Go ahead, Randy.
So where do we sign up somewhere for obtaining these smaller bins, or how do we go about that? Or has that been decided yet, Sean?
If I might, Mr. Mayor?
Absolutely.
So like I said, the plan is to roll this program out somewhere in April of 2022. So we're just working out the details, Randy, of how that's all going to fall through, and council has a utility and waste bylaw to review in the interim as well. So those are all details that we're just calculating right now. So there will obviously be a mechanism for those that want the smaller bin, but as of yet, we haven't determined just what that mechanism will be.
Okay, we're going to go to Councillor Dixon, then we'll come back to you, Randy.
If I might, Mr. Mayor, I'm just wondering if Mr. Patience could answer. Has there been any consideration into the potential of sharing bins between households at all? Thanks.
If I might, Mr. Mayor, no, there hasn't been. As I said, when we're dealing with a mass program like this, the administrative challenge in opting out or allowing opting out or sharing is quite significant, and I'm not sure we're set up, or Okotoks is set up for that. While Okotoks does allow options for theirs, they haven't allowed opting out, to my knowledge anyway, Councillor Dixon. So at this point, it's 3 bins per household, and as we move forward, we'll determine the details on how to administrate those bins. And I will remind council, obviously, that this program was just put forward in October through a meeting of JFAC, so we've still got obviously a lot of details to work out.
Thank you.
Indeed, we do. And I think you're going to hear from Councillor Rabb on some of the details that he's going to want to see. Go ahead, Councillor Rabb.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, Mike and Randy, for coming in and making your presentation and for your emails. And I really believe that I'm totally in favor of this program. I think curbside is the way to go. but I don't think one size fits all here. So I would like to ask Sean to continue to work and strive to get it so that it can reach everybody's demands, and I think that there's no reason why we can't make that happen. Obviously, and Sean, like you talk about garden waste, I certainly have enough in the summertime, but if you look at the condos that these two guys represent, they have people to look after their lawn and stuff, so they don't have any yard waste at all. So a small bin might be the best solution for them, and hopefully they can still support that. But I think we need to do some work, and it sounds, Sean, like that's what you and Craig are doing right now. So I appreciate that, and we appreciate your comments, Randy and Mike, and we'll take an advisement and hopefully get something that's going to work for everybody.
Okay, so I've got two in the queue. I've got Hazel, then Councillor Gordon. I'm going to ask Randy for comment first because I wanted to get back to him, and then we're going to go Hazel and Councillor Gordon.
Well, I've only got a couple other comments. So I assume that we'll continue to use the blue bins that we have currently for recycling.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And waste pickup, will that still be on a weekly basis or for all three bins or?
The garbage will remain the same, except garbage will then go into black bin when we get it, and the blue will become the recycling. We haven't worked out the details on how often we're going to be picking up the recycling or the organics. Based on Okotoks' model, we have to look what's going to be tailored for Black Diamond Turner Valley. So that could be slightly different. It could be 2 weeks for compost. But, you always want to check it out with the smell and so on. So those are being looked into as well on the timelines. Sean, do you have anything preliminary that you guys were going to present in timelines?
Yeah, well, yeah, we actually do have, but I don't want to put it out just yet in a public forum.
Okay.
I will suggest though that, yeah, we are looking at all those, and we're certainly going to give, we're going to try and give at least 3 months notice in advance of the rollout of this program. And Okotoks is already committed to working with us to do a PR campaign for our residents, not just of Turner Valley, but Black Diamond as well. So we'll make sure everyone is well informed of the process and the collection days, etc. So Okotoks has a very well working model right now, and we're certainly going to emulate and steal from it what we can that has been successful from their perspective.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to Councillor Martin and then Councillor Gordon, and we'll come back to you, Randy.
Thank you, Mayor Crane. My comment was just going to be regarding the pickup of the organics. Is it going to be seasonally? But as Sean has said, is that those details are just being worked out.
Okay, thank you for comment. Councillor Gordon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Randy and Mike, for presenting. I'm sure there's more in town that have these similar concerns. So question I have as we have administration looking into the details, what option are we looking at for what size of bin potentially? I know there was some concern when we first discussed this that the machine and having a different size of bin could cause a little bit of issue when it comes around to picking it up because the manner in which the arm works on the larger size bin. So what the first question then is, what would the smaller bin be? And then secondly is, could we have people pre-order so that we make sure that we have the right number on hand? Just wondering if that's going to be too much work on administration part.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councillor Gordon. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will say this, you're getting into the details of a program that you just put into administration only a few weeks ago. So I would ask you to be patient and allow us to put the program together. And obviously we'll share it as quickly as we can. I would have had Mr. Beaton here tonight to share with us. However, he had a holiday book for this week. So unfortunately, you're left with me to answer the questions. I will suggest, I do know that he has ordered 200 of the smaller bins, and we're working on a process to make application for those. And if we need to order extras, that's certainly fine. I think we're well prepared to be able to adjust as we roll out this program. And like I said, we're working with Paul of Okotoks, who is well versed in this. We're very confident in our ability to to utilize the bin sizes that are going to work for the truck, and to put on a program that we think will be successful. So once we have everything ironed out, council will be the first to hear, and I'll be more than happy to share those details. Then, like I said, we're implementing them, or we're putting them forward in terms of a bylaw as we speak, and our plan is for January for council to be reviewing that. So we'll have those details soon enough.
Okay, thank you. Follow up, Councillor Gordon?
Yeah, just a quick follow-up, Mr. Patience, if I may, through the mayor. Do you know, when you say smaller size bin, have you decided a liter size? Is because there's 3 different sizes, my understanding is. So that may be in the details, and I may need to be patient, but I understand.
I just don't want you to quote me on it. I believe that we're dealing with, I think, 220 and 120 liter bins, but please don't quote me. But that's coming to the top of my mind. But again, we'll share those details. And I know Mr. Beaton could roll them out off the top of his head. So, yeah, like I said, we'll certainly be providing council with an update on that program very soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Patience. I know that Okotoks does have 3 different size bins, and their equipment is geared to satisfy the needs of those 3 different sizes. And of course, us using their equipment and the program, obviously, I think we're in well hands there. 200 small bins, I would think, myself, just commenting, I think is a little light. I think there'll be more people wanting the smaller compost bins. So it might be something to look into for sure. And I definitely think that the condos would be first on the list for small bins, if anyone. So we should probably start looking at the priorities when it comes to those things. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up tonight regarding the small bins as we roll into the program and start to acknowledge what needs are out there is, I think, the fixed income seniors, we need to really look at that as well and keep to the small bins and find a rebate program possibly moving forward for certain individuals. So anyway, all things that are just, have been commented on, and I think we have a conversation to have in the future. I'm going to go back to Randy for your other inquiry.
No, I don't have any other issues or inquiries, Barry. Thanks again for your time and consideration. So I'm okay.
Well, I hope we answered a few questions and planted just enough seeds so that you can come back and get the answers that you're really looking for. So,
Appreciate it.
Give us a little time and we'll have some more details for you here. 3 months prior to rollout, we're going to have a full public information campaign. So, yeah, lots more to follow. All right. Appreciate it, Randy. Mike, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank
and
you.
We'll see you guys again later. Take care. All right. So let me just have a quick gander over here. Not needing any motion from that. Straightforward. Good. 7.2, Diamond Valley Sustainable Living Center, the DVSLC. We have the delegation here of Mr. Larry Kapuska, Mr. Dusty Williams, and another Larry in the background, I see. All right.
Well, thank you very much.
Kapuska, I'm going to let you take the helm, and you can guide us through your presentation.
And I'm going to try to share my screen at this point.
All right. Someone will allow you that ability, I'm sure. Have we got you linked in, Larry?
I don't know. Are you seeing any screen?
Not yet. No. Lisa, can you confirm you've got Larry linked in to share screen? Or Marianne, whoever's in charge of that. I think Lisa would be.
Well, while that's taking place, let me also congratulate all of you for being elected. And have a good ride as you go forward. This is going to be an exciting time for all of you. So as we're getting started here, I did send out a draft of the presentation. So if we don't get the screen up, you'll be able to follow along most of it anyway from the materials you received. So let me proceed with that option rather than wait. The Diamond Valley Sustainable Living Center was recognized by the state under the Corporates Act as a private nonprofit organization. The directors are myself as chair, Larry Ashmore vice chair, Les Quinton treasurer, Jackie Blight secretary, Dusty Williams is a director at large, and Susan Christopherson is a director at large. We have a website and an information email that you're able to access. We got organized. Our mission statement is to nurture a community that lives an environmentally regenerative and socially just lifestyle by providing our needs to the extent possible within our local area. Our vision then is to live sustainably. There are many aspects of this that were exposed during the COVID pandemic, and we were hoping to address some of these through our initiatives. We've identified 5 basic initiatives. Perhaps front and center is we want to focus on educational opportunities and apprenticeships. But within the areas of security, we're emphasizing food security, water security, and energy security. And I'll have more to say about each of those. And the last one kind of dovetails with the discussion you were just having on the responsible use, reuse, and upcycling of resources. Within the education and apprenticeship realm, we're looking to design workshops to build sustainability skills for all ages, from children on through adult groups. We want to focus on each element of those core security themes, namely food, energy, and water. And finally, we want to use these as a way to foster a spirit of community among our members and the public at large. Within food security, we've already launched, largely through the efforts of Rod McWilliam, one of our members, an effort to gather, distribute, and process unwanted fruits and vegetables in our local area. Last year, I worked with a sustainability group in their capstone educational course with the University of British Columbia, and they drafted a template for us on how to implement this kind of a gleaning effort for the Diamond Valley. And we're hoping to be able to implement this in a serious way in the next season. We're also working on a number of options that would allow folks to grow foods indoors across all 4 seasons. We have vertical towers that are either with soil or with aeroponics, and these produce vegetables that can be used in households, even in small apartment complexes. One of our bigger ticket items is that we hope to work with the Oilfields High School and perhaps with groups such as Sprung to build a greenhouse adjacent to the high school that would allow students there to participate in developing food resources. This would offer many opportunities for the students to gain educational experience in a real-world activity in which they would be not only understanding how to grow foods, but be able to use their produce to supplement their cafeteria, their commissary, perhaps use excess foods that they generate to help with our food bank system. And ultimately, we hope this could be something that could be done on an annual basis all year round. And finally, in this realm of food security, largely identified through the food chain crises that erupted during the pandemic. We hope to be instrumental in creating partnerships with local farmers and ranchers, something along the lines of the CSA programs that have been popular for many years now, to provide local food sources and a secure supply. We have, over the last year, generated a number of prototypes. One of these is develop a solar oven, which could be used to cook products using just the sun's energy and therefore contribute to the energy security aspect. And very similarly, a solar dehydrator that members could process their excess fruits and vegetables and preserve them for later use. The water security arena is becoming increasingly important here in southern Alberta. Projections are that over the next 2 or 3 decades, we're going to be in severe water crisis mode quite often. And so one of the objectives of our water security initiative is to increase the installation of water capture and reuse systems for homes and businesses,